All right, in section 2, we get to talk about, again, that normal distribution curve. We're dealing with finding areas underneath the curve. We're going to talk more about z-scores. We did that in a previous chapter as well. But this one says find the z-scores that separate the middle 45% of distribution from the area and the tails of the standard normal distribution. And so what I want us to use is StatCrunch to help compute this. And so the z-scores, if we recall from earlier, that's when the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So I'm going to, in StatCrunch, go to our normal calculator. So under Stat, Calculators, Normal. And so it's set up for z-scores because it says the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So if I want to find that middle 45%, how I would do that is instead of doing just to the left or to the right, I can do that just by, switching that inequality. I want to do it between because I want that middle area to be 45%. So since I'm looking at that area, I'm going to put 0.45 in the middle or on that far right, saying that's my probability or my proportion. And when I hit compute, I'm going to get my z-scores. So this is for a normal, mean 0, standard deviation of 1. So again, your area underneath the curve or the probability or proportion goes in that bottom right. So I get negative 0.60 and positive 0.60. Those numbers should match when we look at them. And so the middle 60% is negative 0.60, comma 0.60. And if I use a O versus a 0, there we go. So those are the z-scores that separate the middle 45%. And so that is one where you're doing a between. Another one I wanted to look at is number 7. So here they give me something where it has a mean of 1252 and a standard deviation of 129. And so I'm going to use that in StatCrunch. So let's see if I can find those numbers again. So a mean of 1252 and a standard deviation, standard deviation of 129 chips. So now, if they want to know between 1100 and 1500, those are those values that are to go right in here and the in between. Again, I'm in the between 1100 and 1500. And it's going to give me that probability and give me a nice picture. So 0.85 decimal places, 4 decimal places, 0.8534. Next it's asking fewer than 1050. So now I'm just going to do a standard because I want to be less than 1050. And again, the picture shouldn't match up, right? So here we see 1050, and to the left is that area, the probability of that occurring, which in this case is 0.0587. So using this normal calculator is super helpful. The proportion of bag that contains more than 1200 chips, well, I need to change my inequality to more than 1200, and I get that area of the shaded region, or the probability or proportion, 0.6566. And then lastly, it's asking what is the percentile rank of bag that contains 1,425 chocolate chips. Now it didn't say, so where is that percentage up to? So the percentile rank, proportion, probability, all those we could be saying are doing something similar. And so that gives me, like, that's my 91st percent, right? because 91% of the data is to the left. So again, using this normal calculator will answer a lot of those questions that you have in section 2. Again, if they're looking for z-scores, remember your mean is 0 and your standard deviation is 1. If it's in between, make sure you just click on the between. And recall that this is an x value. This is a probability or proportion.